Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Show me there's nothing fake to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning.
Hi everyone. I hope you're doing well and having a great weekend. In my last couple of videos, I talked about value. You're valuable, right? How many times have I said that? I think a lot. And your self-worth. And you know how important it is for us to understand that we are so valuable and worthy, because that's where we're going to find our true happiness in life and experience the greatest love and the greatest relationships once we do know that. And I know in some way our past has shaped us into who we are now, and we've been hurt with events and words that someone may have spoken to us about us and made us feel bad about ourselves. And that affects us at a very subconscious level, and our self-worth and our self-esteem. But it doesn't have to, and you can heal from here. So you can forgive yourself and try to accept unspoken apologies from people who have done that to us. Not because they need it, but because you do. Right? So let's talk about it. Valuable. Well, what does that mean? I like to get the meanings down first. Well, it means that you are very important, and you're very precious in every way, and priceless too. There's no one like you in this world. Not one. You're not even a limited edition. You're irreplaceable. There's only one of you in this world, and there'll never be another you. So look at that alone, right? Look how valuable that is. That is priceless, like I said. Just imagine that. You really are. And just to know that your value, self-worth, and self-esteem really go all hand in hand. It has a lot of similar meanings, and they all kind of flow into each other. Well, how? Well, self-worth is seeing that you are valuable and worthy of love. And then self-esteem is basically how valuable you feel and think that you are. How we think, feel, and act, and what we believe our worth is. So see how that just kind of rolled into the other like that? You can have a lot of confidence and have still low self-esteem. And see, confidence, you need it, of course, right? Like, you're confident in your abilities, what you do, you're good at it, like your job, what you're very talented in doing. But it's so important for your happiness and well-being that that you have good self-esteem. And why is that? Well, because you can be a great, like, for example, myself, I'm a nurse. I've been a nurse. I can do it in my sleep, right? I've been a nurse forever. But having low self-esteem, it affects you personally in your personal life. And it affected my relationships in the past. So I wasn't happy. So ultimately, having really low self-esteem, what can it do to you? A lot. First of all, mentally, physically, it'll harm you. More stress. Again, the cortisol levels that I told you about go up. You know, and then you have all this anxiety and depression that you're more vulnerable to getting. Having high self-esteem makes you more resilient in dealing with, you know, things that happen. So to you, it really, really does. So anyway, basically, it affects your personal life, like I said. Your success is not going to give you your ultimate happiness. Your being happy with yourself will, and in love and relationships, right? So, and what happens? When you have low self-esteem, it ultimately, what happens? It steals your happiness, and it has the potential to take your life eventually. It really does. That's how serious that is. Well, how? Because if you feel so bad about yourself, you can't cope so well with negative things that happen to you. And a lot of people will turn to drugs, alcohol, and other addictions that are not healthy. Just for example, look at the celebrities. You know, they have no problem going in front of these huge audiences and performing, but then they end up dying from drugs, overdosing, you know? So, you know, we've heard all those really sad stories about the celebrities, and it happens to all of us. And you're a celebrity too, even though you don't sing or act, in my eyes, just because you're you. So, So with that being said, we really need to feel worthy and valuable. When you have higher self-esteem, other things that are really good about that is you know, it makes you strive to be the best that you can be, and you can achieve anything you put your heart to when you do, because you believe in yourself, right? You believe you can do it because you know who you are as a person. The thing with self-esteem is it's not easy to work on, because you know that can fluctuate day to day and even hour to hour. So the ways that you can help your self-esteem is, you know, you can do those positive affirmations again. You know, they really, really help. It's important though that you make them achievable and more believable. Like if you're really, really having really bad, low self-esteem of yourself, like saying, I will succeed in this area of my life. You can just say things like, I will continue to persevere until I succeed, right? You know, because, you know, that'll be better for you. That'll help. I had to learn to accept compliments because, first of all, I did struggle with low self-esteem when I was younger. And even in my adult life, I just, last few years, I've really worked on that and learning who I was and learning my value. And I couldn't take compliments. When people would say nice things to me, I'd resist it. And I would be, oh, no, well, I have an excuse. Well, you look great today, oh, well, my hairdresser's really good, which she is. I give her all the credit. That's why it's not because of who I am, right? So, I really had to train myself to say thank you when I ever did receive compliments, and I would acknowledge people by saying, how kind of you to say that. And then, you know what? Eventually I began to believe it. And I stopped resisting it so much. And it makes you feel good, right? It does. And you deserve it. I'm going to keep saying that. All right. So, when you have really bad, low self-esteem, you do what? You criticize yourself, right? You do really bad. I mean, you look at yourself and you're like, God, I'm so bad at this. I'm so bad at that. I don't like how I look. I don't like how I sound. I've always hated the sound of my voice when others seem to like it, and said it was really soothing or comforting. To me, it was like, oh my God, really? Look at how I sound like a kid. And I'm how old? So, things like that. All that negative self-talk about yourself, and I had to stop doing that, which I did. And then by doing that, I would, again, I trained my mind. So with every negative thought, I would put a positive one in there. And then I give myself a lot of self-compassion. I made a list of all the qualities that I have and why those qualities are valuable and likely to be appreciated by others. That helped. And it could help you too. It requires, again, a lot of work. It does. But if you do it, it'll make you happier and healthier emotionally, psychologically, if you invest in this way in yourself. And we all want that and deserve that. We do. So let's talk about what makes you valuable and why people need to feel valuable. Because we all want to feel like we're important and that our lives matter, right? Because you are. You're valuable because you are just merely the fact that you exist. You really are. Not by what you've done, just simply because of who you are. That's you. It's you. So again, I said, let's say why we need to feel valuable. Why do we? Because it's our core emotional need to feel that we matter, that we're important. Without a stable sense of it, we don't know who we are and we don't feel safe in the world. I can tell you, growing up, when I was really young, it's so important that, when you're young, you don't know, you're learning, right? You're building your character. It's so important that you're built up. I understand that you have to to build your character, you would have to use discipline, right? You have to, but not severe discipline, because that will cause you to become fearful. And growing up, and I love my family to death, and they know, my parents, and they know how they were brought up a certain way, and they did the best that they could, just like we all do. There's no book on telling us how to be a parent, right? And what's healthy or not, and through our own experiences, and just by doing it, we learn along the way, right? So yeah, I grew up, and it was loving, but also it was, it was very structured in a way where there wasn't that much positive reinforcement. There was a lot of negative, which, like I said, caused me to be fearful. Back then, people, physically punished their children. And for me, that only made me fearful, made me afraid. It made me afraid of everything, everyone. I want to hide. I want to disappear in the world. So that was hard. And that hurt my development, my self-esteem in that way. It makes you fearful of rejection. It makes you fear that I had to be a certain way and do certain things. And if I didn't, then, then I was punished for it in a negative way. Not talked to, so, it makes you fear a lot, because I was always worried about rejection from my family, abandonment, and not being accepted. So it's so important that we do feel safe to build up our self-esteem. And that the other thing is I didn't really have an opportunity to find who I was. I was really instilled responsibility, which is good, right? It is. You need to. I have wonderful work ethics now because my parents really, really taught me that. I didn't really know how to have fun. I really couldn't explore what maybe I would like to do. I couldn't really be a kid. Like, for a very young age, I had to go to work. I worked and I worked and I worked and I worked. So I'm good at working. And now I'm just starting to finally understand how important it is to have fun too. So I'm working on myself. That's one area. And that balance in your life. So, that really hurt me in that way for my self-esteem. But, yeah, so along with having, with good, healthy, higher self-esteem, good health, mentally, physically, it also gives us satisfaction and motivation and higher levels of connecting with others. All things that will lead to a healthy relationship. And we all want that, right? Again, I say that all the time. When you have a relationship where you are valued, you'll feel appreciated for your role in that person's life. You won't need to justify your actions either. And you won't feel guilty for having other priorities. And they are listened to carefully, and they respond back with compassion. And like any advice that you give to the person you're with, it's taken seriously. And your boundaries are respected as well. So that's really good. That's wonderful, actually, because we all need our boundaries, not crossed. And so anyway, I like this. I did some research on this, and that, the value in each other. And I came up with this, and I want to share it with you. So it's respecting each other leads to value. Value leads to trust. A person that feels valued develops trust in that person. And now you have formed a group and a sense of safety in the world. And that's really like a relationship and what it does, right? When I sensed that I wasn't valued, I worried all the time that I would be rejected by other people. How did it make you feel? How does not feeling valuable, what does that do for you? What does that do to you? You can share that with me if you'd like. But, sometimes it helps just to talk about it. We can support each other. You can be value. You can use value to remain valuable. Like every time that I remind you that of your value, it helps me increase my own. So that's really powerful, right? Control no one, instead influence everyone. What kind of influence do you want to be? Try not to judge. That makes people feel less valuable and causes distrust and divides us instead of bringing us together. We all want the same thing, and we're more alike than we are different. We really are. We're all in this together, remember? I said that, and we are. We're better together, right? It's not me, it's us. It's us. It's what makes us better. It sure does. So I'm going to read to you some things that really inspired me. I hope it does that for you too. They're quotes. I love quotes. This one says, it's about being enough, which you are. You have what it takes. You are strong enough. You are brave enough. You are capable enough. You are worthy enough. It's time to stop thinking otherwise and start believing in yourself, because no one else has the dreams that you have. No one. No one else sees the world exactly like you do. And no one else holds the same magic inside. Oh, I like that, and it's true. It's time to start believing in the power of your dreams. You're beautiful. You're beautiful, my friend. Not next year, not next month, not tomorrow, but now. You are ready. You are enough. Isn't that a beautiful quote? And it's really true. You are. Remember that. You're more than enough. That's from Nikki Benaz. I'm not very good with it. You know, I butcher names. Sorry. I hope I didn't, but I like this one too, by Morgan Harper Nichols. You have worked so hard. You have given so much. You have made it through countless moments of not feeling good enough. And if there are days where you still feel discouraged, remember, you have come so far. And no matter how your low moments have made you feel, they do not define who you are. They don't. And this one's beautiful. You are good enough because you house within you a heart that beats deeply and feels without question. You are good enough because that beating heart gives you the ability to love someone in the most profound way. That is all that matters. Your past doesn't matter. Your faults do not matter. The only thing that matters is that you have a heart. And that's from Bianca Sparacino. Remember, just remember, you are loved. You are enough. You are special in your own way and in every way. You are precious, kind, beautiful. You are strong. And with that, I'm going to leave you, and I'm sending you again all my love and light, blessings and peace. And we're going to start diving into relationships. Okay? All right, love you. Bye.